Hello everybody, this is Dragon Lady 80906 with another tutorial. I do have a munchkin beside me, so don't be surprised if she starts talking up. Today we are going to do my version of a study of light and shadows. That's this, but we're doing shadows here versus lines. Okay? Which can alter and change your picture. Now, we're not going to do that exact same picture, but I'm going to use it as a basis. So, you need your sketchbook or drawing pad. I'm going to get out one of my larger ones so we can get a good view going on here instead of my little one. My little one. Okay, these extra large mixed media Canon sketchbooks I have found at Walmart. They're about $6 to $8 a piece depending on their size. Can be more, can be less. Depends on your area. Shh. Don't talk during my video, okay? Okay. Okay. No, it ain't gonna get you. It's looking down at this. As much as you want to be gotten in a picture. Okay. Alright, so gotta find me a clean page. The utensils I'm going to be using today, though you can use a standard number 2 pencil, which is a number 2 hard graphite pencil. I'm going to be working with a combination of Staedlter and Kimberly Sketch pencils. I'm going to be using 2H through 4B, though in my hand I also have 6B and 8Bs, to do this picture. Okay. Let's get started, shall we? In any picture, you want to start with your lines. I suggest starting with somewhere in the H size. This one is very tiny. So, I'm going to start with my number 2 H pencil. A little sharp and cleaned here. Ooh, look how nice that is. Okay? So, start with your line. Remember, it's not going to be exactly the same as the other one, but I am using the other image as my base. Okay? So I'm going to come up here. This is going to be my first curve that you saw before. This is a fold in the fabric that I'm going to be using, which will come around to here. Okay? Over here, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to use a bottle to create a spherical or round image. Okay? For simplicity's sake. Because I don't feel like trying to spend all day getting that right for you guys. And I could just be teaching a video. I can get very, very obsessive over it. Okay, so you have your image here. And now, this line's going to come back around over here and create another curve. Okay? Da 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 da. Remember what to be seen. Okay? Now, but this one, there's not going to be really much of a line here. Okay? This is where our shadow play is going to come in. But you will want another, more than likely, another curve coming down around here. Stop right about there. Okay. Same thing over here. Ladies. Shh. Okay. Part of the fabric over here. Okay. Like I said, I know this image well, so I can alternate it as I go. But when first trying, you want to set something up to look at. Okay. And basically just get a cloth. Don't worry about colors or anything at this time, but like a small cylinder, a spherical object here on top of a cloth. Okay? Best way to go about it. That's how I learned this image. Okay, now there was also a smaller sphere. You can do this part if you want. I'm going to do it for the fun of it. Again, small. Gonna use a tool. I normally don't do this. Tracing drives me bad. Shiz crazy. Okay, you notice that my new image slightly goes over the lines that I made. That's fine. You can find an eraser and erase what's inside of it. My original image actually did this with marbles. So, okay. So now we have our baseline image. Okay. This is where you change from hards to bolds. You can even do HB or just plain B. Okay. And this is where the differences start to show. Bolds are thicker and darker than H's, which are simply hards. Okay, because bold is a softer material and leaves more graphite behind as you go along. Okay, so in this line, we're going to start a shade. Okay, you can go like this, you can do it like this, however you want to go about it. Okay, remember this is going to be shaded. As you go out from this line where the fold in the fabric will be, you're going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. Don't press so hard. Don't rub so fast. Whatever. Okay? So there's the HB. I'm now going up to a 2B. I tend to do it this way because it's much easier for me. Okay? Starting again at the line. Go over what you've already gone over. Okay. Now I feel this part over here is a little much, so I'm going to erase some of it. I don't know where my big pink erasers went. They vanished on me. No. Okay. But remember, as you go up in boldness, it's supposed to get darker. And you want to keep this darker edge up underneath the fold of this fabric here. Okay? And just keep going at it, keep working at it. And as you get out here, there's going to be more light, so you want to press lighter, leave less behind. Okay? And just work it in small layers as it's comfortable to you. Okay. Now, this next part for me is a bit of a leap because I don't work with much outside the realm of, well, standard pencils, to tell you the truth. Okay? Got a little extra over here. So for me, this is going to look like a little bit of a jump to you guys, because 4B is a lot harder than what I'm used to working with. Remember, press harder in the darkest areas, get it darker. Okay. This is where I'm going to start going more towards the point than the edge of the pencil like I was doing before. Okay, start getting this spot here under the fold nice and dark. Okay, if you have them and you want to use them, you may go up to 6B. I even have an 8B running around here, which again, it's way, way darker. Okay, I'll show you here in this, even though I don't typically use 6 and 8s. Okay, see how that starts to look more like a really thick line? Okay, this is where often when you're drawing things can get lost and mixed up in the fold. Okay, so going back to the side of my pencil with my 4H. Okay, try to remember to bring this shadow out some. Okay, and as you go out, press lighter. As you go in towards the fold, to the fold, you get darker. Man, I sound like a broken record. La la la, do this, do that, do this again, do that again. Okay. Now, you feel you got that shade, just dark where it needs to be, light where it needs to be, and gradually brought out. Okay? You can go ahead and bring out your blending stumps or your fingers. I typically use my fingers. Start blending that area in a bit if you want. For me, it's just a way of saying, oh, hey, I've done this part. I'm good. Okay. And you do it just like so. Until you get that smooth, textured edge that you want. I'm not going to go too much into it. Okay? You can go over it again and again until you feel satisfied. Now over here, I left this part here so you can see an actual mistake. Okay? You don't need this fold here. Okay? So you can, if something like this happens, feel free to erase. But you don't actually need that part. Okay? That's where your light and shadow. That's the difference between a line and a shadow. A line is a physical fold, line, stitch, something like that. Okay? But it's not a dip, dent, crevice, crease. Okay? Unless you can physically see something fold in over itself. Get the idea? Okay. Now, with that little tidbit of knowledge, I'm going back to my number 8 pencil, because this side around here, where you saw that line, is actually still a shaded portion. Coming up out of here like this, and swinging back around. Okay. So you shade that any way you want to there. Try to remember to follow the linear curve here, because this is another hill in the fabric, but this will be exposed to more light than this portion is. Okay. So you got that? Alright, since my image is getting a little bigger and bigger as I go along, I'm going to actually move to a larger blending stump. Now, each of the blending stumps, both in size and in roughness, create the number that they are. Okay, so this kind of blending stump actually has a much smoother edge. Smoother edge than the other one, but there's more to it, so it comes in rougher. Okay, now you notice that once you've gone over this portion here, you're going to have a lot of residue. Okay, you can use that part to shade some of this other stuff if you want. Okay, now in this picture, I want my light to be coming from over here. If you need to, again, make a little thing, or if you're following that, if you're following that, you're actually using a prop of some kind, you follow that. Okay? But for me, that also means that this area over here is a little too dark. So I actually need to find a little bit of erasing here. Make it a little lighter for my purposes. So again, remember, this line needs to stay put. This one here. You can use a darker pencil if you need to make it stand out a little more, like I just did with a number 4. Okay? Remember to try and keep the transition between the shadow and the light smooth. Okay? Good, good, good. Da da dum da da dum da da dum da dum. Doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. Okay. See how that's coming off now? Now, for these, you got 2 shadows. The casted shadow and your reflective shadow. Okay? Casting shadows are really easy to make. Just get your pencil. This is going to be a number 2. Okay? Get your little, you just create, for a round object, you just create a kind of oval, elongated stretch, okay? But you need to understand that the shadow has to be basically as wide as the object itself, where it touches the fabric, okay? Same thing for the big one, okay? This is about where it would touch in the fabric for me. Then you come around to the other side, do the same thing. Okay? But for this, when it comes to the shadow, it gets darker inside and closer to the object itself. See? Like this. Okay. And darken that as you see fit, till you get what you want. Okay? So I just use the number 2 and number 4 pencils to do that. And get you out your blending stumps again. And just smooth it along. Okay, you can use the extra go along. Yes'ms.
Nothing.
Okay. I'm going to move back to my smaller blending stump for precision work and details. Okay. Now sometimes these shadows over here can feed into each other, so don't hesitate to use that to your advantage. Okay, now, did get a little messy again, but since this part is actually going to be somewhat darker anyway, I'm going to leave it the way it is. Okay, now, quick trick with the light when making a sphere. Quick trick to know. Very lightly with like your B or your HB pencil, you can come over here and create kind of cul-de-sac on your image. I call it a little cul-de-sac because it reminds me of a cul-de-sac. Okay? Now over here, since this one is more than likely going to be in the shadow of the larger image, okay, probably not actually going to have a very focused point of light for it. So you'll want like a small cul-de-sac kind of thing right there. Okay. Now, this part here is the part that's exposed to the most light. Okay. So more or less you want to keep that area white. Okay. So go over here, do this, start your shades. Okay. Start your shading. Now for me, I'm mostly drawing something like this and doing my shadings this way. But for expedience sake, I was using it on the side. That's what I do. Okay. Now remember, down here, facing away from the light, will always be the darkest. It's usually best to work with a kind of middle ground and erase and darken as you need it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But if you want to start in the darkest area and move your way out, you may. Okay? So here, I'm going to do that and keep going as I need. Now, as you watch, you're going to notice that I'm leaving a small sliver of this area white as well. That is because of an effect that's called reflective light on like glass or shiny objects. But you can have it on fabrics and other things too. They're just usually not as noticeable. But that's literally the light reflecting off this fabric, the object underneath it, back onto the object itself. Okay? It also adds to the whole I am a round object look. But you can do it with all shapes. All shapes. It's not just a sphere thing, but anything that has reflective light. Okay. But over here, you'll notice I probably don't put it as much or make it as noticeable. Okay. Okay. Moving on from my HB to a 2B. See how I'm more focused on my shadow area over here. Okay. And getting this spot a little darker. Now, also remember with these, kind of like the shine on an apple, you have that weird little spot. And you can have that here as well. Okay. Just make sure you put it in somewhere. Here and here. Because light not only comes from a direction and bounces off, and can reflect off things back here too. Okay. Normally these are seen like over here where the light is. I'm going to put it on this side so it's simply more noticeable. So you get the idea a little better. Okay? See? Just the little shiny thing. Shiny thing on the apple. I love me some shiny things. Okay. This is still 2B. It's just one of the other ones. Okay? Now. Can get a little of that over here. A little drip of that going on there. Okay. Now, don't hesitate to make this area darker and darker. Okay? Don't hesitate. Feel free to make it darker and darker. However you want to do it. Okay, now moving up to my 4B. We're going to get this area really dark now. Okay, remember we're going to need some transition in here. So feel free to move this up some into this space a little, just not a whole lot. And keep working it. Yeah, this is just the tedious part of drawing. Okay. Now, since I'm using a kind of shiny spherical object, I'm making some serious shade lines in here. Just dark lines that kind of streak through it. Okay, you don't have to if you don't want to. That's just what I do. I call them that. But they're shadows. These are going to be like marbles. Okay. Blending stump. Smooth it all out. Start. Okay. Now, the reason I do that is, like I said, the thing I studied with was marbles. They were clear marbles, and there was stuff inside of them as well. Okay. You notice how I'm going over this wider area with some of the shade leftovers? That's to help smooth the transition between light and shadow. Okay? Because nothing is ever quite bright. Nothing's ever quite dark. So says the shiny on the bottom. Okay, but you notice that the shiny on the bottom will not be as bright as the stuff on the top. Just for that reason. Okay. Same thing to the little one. Remember, it's in the shadow of the larger object, so you don't have a lot of actual light bright on it. Call it light bright. I don't even remember what my art teacher called it, light bright. We're going to call it light bright for the fun of it, because that's just a funny word. Okay, if you feel you need to darken the edge of your original sphere, go right ahead. You don't want to make it too dark and stand out too much, though. Okay? Unlike what I'm doing. So I'm using a 4B here. You probably don't want to. You probably just want to go back to the H or the 2B and use that instead. Which I think I'll move over to. Okay, because the contrast between the lines shouldn't be that much greater. You should notice the edge, just it shouldn't stand out like a sore thumb, you know? But you definitely want to be able to see it. And as you do your shading, things will get more noticeable between the line and the shade. You'll start to see them kind of blend together, and that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly okay. In fact, I suggest taking that dark line that you might have made and using it to help with your shading, to darken where you need it to be. Okay? Go all the way out to that edge and bring it in. Okay? Alright. Okay. Now, you notice that the light part that we did have here might have faded in or become lost altogether. That's okay. Just take your eraser, because again, it is the brightest part of the image, so it does need to be noticed. And just go over it with shh. Still in the middle of my video. Okay, so go ahead and erase if you need to. Bring it out a little more. Okay, notice on the smaller one I kind of made it a little brighter there too. And again, that's okay. Hey, if you want to help, why don't you go find me one of my large pink pearl erasers? Yeah, the big ones. My big eraser. I'll talk to you in a moment. I am in the middle of a video still.
I don't want to talk to you. I want to watch.
Okay, you do that then. Okay, and I'm coming back down here and getting my reflective line. Sweetie, I'm busy. What?
That won't budge in there. Because I keep saying not right now.
Then find something else to do. She doesn't want to play right now. Okay. Yes, I know my phone is going bing bing. Leave it alone. It's a messenger. I'm a little busy with that. Okay. Okay. So you can go ahead and make that part a little lighter again. Okay. Yes, you can have that now. I'd like you to wait till after lunch, but whatever. Why don't you go find me one of my large pink erasers, please? Okay. Now this part over here is a little messy, so I'm going to do some erasing. That's because any good artist knows that you get graphite on your hands eventually. Okay. Now, you can go ahead and erase like I'm doing. Not really necessary, but you can. Okay, so over here, again, we've got another line versus shadow scenario going on. Okay, now remember, the only line you want to see is an actual edge. Okay, fold, crease, not dense or anything like that. Okay. So, okay, where did my H, there's my HB, okay. So this is again something to show you and to erase as a mistake. Okay, I'm going to want this up here like that, which means this doesn't need to be here. It's okay if you had followed me along and you did it yourselves. It's fine. It's fine, perfectly fine. Just follow along with the erasing too, okay? But you still have that line there. If you still see a little part of it, you can use your HB and go back over it with shadows again. Okay?
Mom, I found time, Candy.
Okay. If it does help, you can keep the line to follow along to create the shadow. Just remember that the line's going to need to be real light so that your shadow...
I found it.
Babies, I am busy. It's not yours. Go away. I am busy. Okay. So you follow along here. What? Talk to me. I am busy, but you can talk to me.
I have no idea what to get for me.
I don't know either. Okay. This fold comes around, but I'll have it stop behind the sphere as to not create a rather confusing scenario. Okay. As you see with this part, I'm keeping most of this area still exposed to my light source. Okay. So I want my light to look like it's coming in this way. Okay. Now moving up to my 2B again. Again, making this area the darkest portion. If you need to move a little further down in the space, it's fine.
Well, I found chocolate chips.
No, you may not have any chocolate chips. Why didn't you just ask Ayla if she will share her candy with you? I don't really want you two having any candy until after lunch anyway. Okay. So, 2B, still a 2B, just a different pencil. Then go away. I'll worry about snacks in a little bit. Okay. Transition, gentle strokes between here and there. Okay, now moving up to the 4B again. 4B. And again, along this edge, we want the darkest shades. Okay. If you find the area is getting a little bigger and bigger as you go along, that's fine. It won't hurt anything. Okay. Okay. There. Okay. If you need to, feel free to go back down to the 2B. Get this area a little bigger. Have the transition work for you. Okay. Go back down to the HB if you need to. Use it to kind of transition. Okay. Whatever you need. Okay. Now, clean side of your blending stump. Blend it in. But you'll notice that this dark area is probably much smaller than the one we did over here. And that's fine. It's perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. And you just go over it with kind of medium pressure. Go over it again. Remember, your shadows can feed into each other. Okay. Back here, you're going to want some more of that shading effect going on. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move back over to my large stump because I want my large stump to make this faster rather than the precision of my little stump. Okay? Notice how I'm taking the graphite and kind of just spreading it back up again. You go ahead and you do that. Okay? You notice over here, along this line, taking the shade and running it over here as well, there's going to be a point for that. It's part of the shading techniques that were taught to me. Okay? Just because the line ends doesn't mean the shades have ended. Okay? So you can go outside, around, over, and under some lines to create shades around them. Okay? Which is what's basically going on here. It's just as this part here is exposed to more light it gets, of course, lighter. More white bright. Whatever you want to call it. You smooth this over till you can't really see a difference between A and B. There's no... Basically, the shadow doesn't create a line itself. Okay? Come over here, do that there. Do some more over here. Okay. So, remember, just because the line ends, the line may end, doesn't mean the shadow does. You can fade some of your lines into your shadows once you get enough practice. Okay? Okay. And you do that all the way around. Okay? You notice how this starts to create a rather interesting effect that this fabric actually looks like it's continuing off the page. There you go. That's what that's for. Okay? You just kind of smooth it on over as far as you want it to go. Now, to create a similar effect over here, you can go back here with your HB pencil very lightly and have a little fold, little edge to your fabric back here. Remember, the only edge in which the light doesn't, where the light ends, the shadow ends, is an actual edge, like a horizon. Okay? And that all depends on whether or not you actually want to put something in the background. I'm not putting anything in the background, so I'm not going to bother with that part. Okay. Now, if you need to, through here, you go over the longest part of the highest part of this edge that's exposed to the light. Okay? And you take your eraser and go along it, like so. Okay? This creates the white bright effect. The bright white effect that we're looking for. Okay? Busy. As you talk, your voice is being recorded. I am busy. Okay? I would prefer not to record your voice if it's not important. Okay? Okay. You can go and create. Okay, good for you. Go. Okay. You create your white bright effect through here. And remember, it's along the edge that's exposed to the most light. Okay? Now, you'll go back and forth over this as you see fit to create a kind of smooth edge. Transition. Edge. Transition. One or the other. From A to B. Now, if you do want this, you can leave it as an actual fold. I don't like that line there, so I'm going to go ahead and erase it and create a shadow instead of a line. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. Like so, like so. Okay. Okay. Ta-da. See? So, my fabric continues here, basically, off the screen. Okay. Do something like that, though. Need to remember to put a little shadow here. Like so. Just a little light shadow. You can probably do it like your number 2B pencil or something. And you just continue to go over it as you see fit. Till you smooth out all those erasing edges and all that shadow, and voila. Okay? Now, can go through here and put in some dark shadows with your number 4B or 2B pencil. Okay. Nice, sharp contrasting shadows that remind you, hey, there's an actual fold here, but you want a smooth edge between here and that. Okay, you can work that out with your your 4B and number 2 pencils. Okay, this just basically takes this spot and goes, bam! I'm here. Don't forget me. Bang, 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 bang. Like the sound of a plinko machine. Ding, 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 ding. You can see it as it falls, but the sound is like, haha, this is real. Okay. Okay. Now, if you just want to be simple and take one pencil to do all this, it'll probably take a lot longer to accomplish the same effects. But it can be done. Probably just not as going to be as easy a contrast as what you might like. Okay. See? It doesn't create a smooth transition, but it makes it bold and loud and say, I'm here. Don't forget me. If you need to, you come over here and do the same things over here. Like so. Okay. You can go back and do this over some of these areas. Okay. I'm going to extend my shadow a little bit out here to fit the rest of it on those spheres. Okay. And there you have it, my friends. One study. One study of light and shadow. Complete. Ta-da! Remember to always sign your work. I'm going to put mine down here. Remember to date so you can look back on your progress and go, oh, hey, I can do that a lot better nowadays. Ta-da!